I know what some of you will say. In fact, I believe there are a couple of elephants in the room. Why is this video so late? Why is it shorter than I promised, and why is it not in parts? To answer your questions, this video is shorter because I remade it. I was looking back at the original product and I didn't really like it since I started working on it immediately after Bracket's video came out. Never gonna give you up. Never gonna let you. And I'm known to be overly emotional in videos in the sense that sometimes I make videos within less than a day ranting about how I feel in that period of time, and sometimes emotions can seriously hinder a video if you don't know what you're doing. Never gonna give you up. Never gonna let you. Another thing worth mentioning is that things have changed since I began working on that video. Me and Bracket talked things out privately a couple days after he released his video, and he believes his video is rather goofy in hindsight, even if he agrees with some of his points. In fact, recently Josh said we no longer have bad blood, and I offered to discuss things on Discord if he had any questions. Never gonna give you up. We'll get to why he said that later on. So to some extent that video would have been a little outdated before it came out. I also think that a shorter, more condensed video would be convincing for those wanting to hear me out, but think a 3-hour-long video is overwhelming. Never gonna give you up. It's also for those who want to see juicy blocky drama but don't have the patience for 3 hours worth of content. Maybe this video will convince people, maybe it'll convince nobody and cause a shit show. I'll just have to wait and see. I believe a response that gets my point across the best it can is better than a response that came out as quickly as possible. With that said, let's get on to Bracket's video. Never gonna give you up. Never gonna. But first, context. So there's this guy named the Packaged Reviewer. What he used to do before he quit was make rant videos about people on DeviantArt and later on, YouTubers. Never gonna give you up. These videos ranged from criticizing bad or mediocre art, to calling out creeps that infested the site. A year ago, I made a video pointing out what I perceived as hypocrisy. That video wasn't very good and I'll explain why in a bit. Then a year after that video, I made a full rant about why I hated his channel. This is the main video Bracket covers. I would later make 2 videos on a guy named Cool Speedy Josh, both of which I dislike, one of which Bracket covers. After he covers the 2 videos, he brings up community posts and Twitter posts of mine to criticize me, ultimately concluding I am not worth engaging with. This video is here to cover Bracket's video. With that said, let's get on with it. Never gonna give you up. Now the reason I felt obligated to make this video was because I had definitely messed up during this whole situation. Bracket, for as bad and mediocre a majority of his points are, was able to catch me with my pants down a couple times. Hell, it's the reason I made this community post, because I realized the response was taking a while and there were things I truly regret. But if you read the post, you'd know I said my 2 biggest fuck-ups were the Pappy Animate shit, and making a video calling Josh a predator. I'll elaborate on the Pappy Animate mess-up first since it came before the Josh one. I think the best way to describe the fuck-up is to dissect the shit post I made.
Just because someone puts an 11-year-old boy in inflation art doesn't mean it's them a pedophile since it's legal. Okay, let me put it this way. If you draw a child in a scenario which you find arousing in any way, that is called pedophilia, since you seem to be attracted to said child, fictional or not. Hello everyone, the Package Reviewer here, and I have found a really interesting and disgusting topic that I've been wanting to tackle for quite some time. Just looking at this guy's content makes my blood boil and at the same time wanting to vomit. But I guess I have no choice but to make a video on him anyway to bring awareness to how scummy he is. The user in particular goes by the name of Package Reviewer.
Now, I had put up text in the original video, so I'll read it out for those merely listening to this as background noise. The text reads, and I quote, "That is known for content of Kaylu and Elmo, fictional 4-year-olds. Half of his content is fictional minors, yet 21-year-old man likes the content." Now I get what I was going for. I was pointing out the double standard I believed to be funny. I barely even knew who Pappy was, but there are 3 issues with this short. Number 1, the use of the term sexual content. Looking at his content now, I can tell he's clearly just making edgy content akin to South Park. Never gonna give you up. Never gonna give you up. Never gonna. But back then, I was a retard. Never gonna give you up. I just saw his clickbait thumbnails and titles and compared it to the stuff Andrew, the guy Box was talking about, was making. By using the term sexual content while saying it was made out of 4-year-olds, I implied Pappy was a pedophile. Even if I don't intend on saying he's a pedophile, people will connect those dots and come to the conclusion he's a pedophile based on what I said. Never gonna give you up. Never gonna. Number 2, something you should have noticed about the post I put out was that I said the Pappy stuff still works as a hypocrisy point. Let me explain. In Box's video, he says this.
Featuring not 1, but 2 pictures of his persona making out with Lincoln. And what's worse is that he calls it a joke, despite him using his usual art style and not in one of those ironic shitty art styles.
Box was trying to argue Andrew's art wasn't a joke or wasn't ironic because he drew those pictures of a fictional 10-year-old with his usual art style. By that logic, Pappy's art isn't a joke because he consistently uses Go Animate. What doesn't help is that Box never really explained what an ironic shitty art style even was. Never gonna give you up. Andrew's art style doesn't fall under that category apparently. Many people use Go Animate in complete earnest, so if we use Box's logic, Pappy gets fucked over. My hypocrisy point would work had that clip been shown. However, I want to state that the clip was in my YouTube Abominations video and Box.
No shit, Sherlock.
Explaining the Undertale music in the background. This will be important later. The final reason I hate that video is the format. It was a quick shit post, quick both in the sense of it being short, and in the sense of it taking like half an hour to make. There are more layers to the point than just a black and white Box said this but did what he criticized point. Without that clip I just showed, context would be lost. Never gonna give you up. Never gonna. Now we get to the Josh video Bracket talks about. Now we aren't given enough context for a lot of these allegations in the video to say one way or the other, so I won't comment on the validity. However, I will comment about the very end. The part where his friend, Josh, is accused of grooming a 13-year-old at 17.
After the whole debacle, called out a few particular people and even exposed Spacey's IRL name out of spite. Gwunkin then decided to join forces with Will G, and even go as far as accusing Josh of pedophilia, which he knows damn well he flirted with him first. Besides, you both are still minors, it's not even remotely pedophilia if nobody's an adult.
Now let's get something out of the way. I no longer believe Josh is a predator. Never gonna give you up. Never gonna. However, that arguably makes Box's defense of Josh even worse because think about it, Box was defending the act of a 17-year-old flirting with a 12-year-old while at the same time implicating Joshua. He defended what Josh was accused of while making Josh, despite there being no evidence of him flirting with a 12-year-old, look like a predator to someone out of the loop.
Never gonna give you up. Never gonna let you down.
It'd be like if some guy falsely accused me of committing a murder and one of my friends defends me under the case of murder not being a bad thing, makes me look really fucking bad and makes my friend a degenerate.
Never gonna give you up.
However, that's not where things ended. I made 2 videos on Josh, one of them not being too notable. I basically took a look at Josh's response to me and his response was a giant nothing burger.
Never gonna give you up.
He didn't actually make points as to why I'm wrong, just vaguely suggested my video on Box was misinformation.
Never gonna give you up.